Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also like to take time out to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. I stand here as the voice for those who sit in silence. And so, guys, it is indeed a pleasure to be here with you tonight. As tonight, we are again taking a look inside of Suicide Awareness Month. We know that September is set aside as Suicide Awareness Month, and so we want to use this platform to bring out that awareness here on this platform, and we hope that it is not a trigger, so to speak. We want it to be a platform that is healing and empowering for each of you. So for each of you that come across this video, for those of you who have not been able to find your voice up until this point, it is my hope that something I do here will help you find your voice in whatever it is that you deal with as it relates to this topic. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. As you're logging on, feel free to like and share this video. Again, feel free to like and share this video. Also, feel free to send me a shout out to let me know that you are here with me tonight. It always means a lot to know that I have your support. It helps give me strength and encouragement to bring such topics that can be so sensitive in nature. So as you guys are logging on, let me just remind you of our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel houses all the videos that we do here on Facebook Live so that you can go back and get that content on demand. So for you guys that maybe some nights, you don't stay up late and you miss these lives, I put it there in the library so that you can have easier access to the videos instead of having to wait 2 or 3 days down the line for it to stream back across your timeline. So for you guys, YouTube, that link is there. Also, connect with me on Amazon. Follow me on Amazon. You have access to all of my books and products that I put out. And since this is my birthday month as well, I am running a sale. So you do get my books this month for a limited time for as low as $5. So I made it as low as I possibly could on each of those books. And so I do hope that you guys go in and get you one of those books or all of those books, especially with the price that they're at now. They are extremely helpful, and if this platform has been of value to you and the things and the topics that we talk about here on this platform, then those books will really be beneficial for you. And if you don't want them for yourself, purchase them for somebody else. They make good gifts for birthdays, holidays, and etc. Also, all of my books are on 3 different formats, so you get those not only on Kindle but paperback, but also in audio. So for those of you who prefer audio, they are available for you as well. Also, feel free to check out my website. My website have all the videos, courses, and other resources there housed in there on that website. And nonetheless, please don't forget about our online store. Our online store, every purchase you make, the proceeds from that store benefit our youth at our nonprofit CWF organization. All right. Nonetheless, Pastor Pitts, thanks for being here with me. Oh, yes. I saw you before I knew you there on Women Speakers. So, yes, I saw you on there before I knew you, before I met you or got acquainted with you. So, yes. And so every now and then I like to send that back through the timelines. So I've watched yours a couple times as well. Rita, thanks for being here. Glad you're here. So tonight we are again digging into suicide because September is Suicide Awareness Month, and not only that, this week is set aside as Prevention Week. So it's all about prevention. And so I think that just having the conversation sometimes is necessary, because suicide is one of those things that in our culture we don't tend to talk about it. We have so many misconceptions, so many myths that we believe in our culture. In my culture, I can say in my culture, that, you know, we were not really educated real well when it came to suicide. And so I have several people that I've reached out to come to this platform to have a conversation with us, to share their stories, to share their experiences as it relates to suicide. And so I'm really excited about getting them on and having a conversation. And if you're out there and you have a story to share as it relates to suicide, you know, we have all this month, you know, and I want to have you on. I want to give you a voice, a place, a safe place to where you can come in and share your story. And you may just be that voice for someone who cannot or have not found that voice inside, and they're suffering in silence. So that's what this here platform is all about. And this is the way I want to spend most of the rest of this September, is just drawing awareness to where it's needed the most, so that we can be educated on what it is that we're really dealing with. And like I said last night when we had Miss Josie Frazier on, and I think she did a fantastic job. She did a fantastic job, and I just appreciate her being here and sharing her story. She was so courageous and brave to do that. And it was the first time, I believe, that we've talked about suicide to that extent here on this platform. So it just broke new grounds. And I told you guys all the time, I cannot come here and sit here and do what I do without really taking a good look within myself. I'm not here to teach at you. I'm not here to preach at you or none of that. We're going through this together. And when we're going through it, I'm going through it in real time. And sometimes I'm processing information as I'm giving it out. And last night really brought up some memories, and it really brought up some areas in my life that I know that I still have untapped. I have not tapped into it to really process it, to see what it really looks like. And so I was just grateful to have Miss Josie here with me last night to share that information. And so as I continue to research suicide, one of the things I wanted to dig a little deeper into tonight is suicidal ideations. And that is something that, a word that we hear tossed around in the conversations about suicide. Do we really know what suicidal ideations is? Because, you know, we toss words around and we use words so loosely sometimes that we all get all these different perceptions and ideas of what these words mean and what they look like to us. And so I used that word several times last night as I recounted and remembered some of my experiences that I had in my earlier years when I had these issues as it relates to suicide, feeling sad and suffering from depression and anxiety, as you guys hear me say several times throughout this platform. And so what does suicidal ideations look like? And the definition I can give you to make it as clear as I can is, it looks like your thinking or your thoughts. These are thoughts that haunt you. Thoughts of feeling hopeless and helpless, and just that sadness that's just so deep, that hurt that's so deep, that pain that's so deep, that continues to consume your thoughts. It continues to consume your mind to the point that it's haunting you. It's taunting you. It's traumatizing you over and over again. And so the thoughts are so haunting that you're just thinking over and over again that you're just ready to give up on living. You're ready to give up on life. You want a place of escape. And being that we cannot escape ourselves, we cannot escape ourselves. We cannot get away from our own mind. Being that this is so, this is why it's called suicidal ideations. It's just the repeating thoughts, the repeating voices that are in our head that taunts us to the point that we believe that death is the only way out. And the thing with suicidal ideations is that when we have that emotional or that mental disconnect, or those illnesses that we deal with, a little something in our mind is magnified. So those issues that we deal with, though they're only for a moment, or though we're having to deal with it only for a season, they're magnetized to the point to where we feel like there is no way out. There's no hope, and that our life is always going to be like the way it is in that season. And we just want to escape. And so looking at suicidal ideations, where does that come from? What is it about our minds or our brains, which is usually so intelligent, that takes a event or takes a traumatic thought or takes the feelings of hopelessness and magnifies it to the point to where we see no other way out, that we see no other solution, that we see can't see past the pain? And in my research, I find that sometimes we feel this way because the brain, if under the age of 25, is not fully developed. So that frontal lobe of our brain, it is not fully developed. So processing information and processing thoughts and seeing past what's right now, or the ability to process information long term, is distorted. And so this is why we sometimes have this to where we have this feeling of sadness, we have this feelings of pain or betrayal, whatever it is, and we don't see any way out. So because we're not able to think and process it to that point. Now, for those of us that are over 25 and maybe our brains are developed or more mature in developing, and we still have these ideations, it shows that many of our issues are magnified due to substance and alcohol. So, and then underlying other mental health issues like depression and anxiety and things like that that are not being treated or not being treated effectively. So many factors that play a role into what suicidal ideations are and what it looks like. We know that some of it is biological. We know some of it is environmental. By biological, I mean, maybe there's some imbalances or chemical imbalances that run in our family line. Maybe it's hereditary. Depression can be passed down. biologically. And then it could be in our environment, some things in our environment that we're consuming that just have us off balance. And so we're not thinking solely or wholly. And, you know, we're so depressed, we're so sad, we feel so hopeless and helpless that sometimes, you know, that it's the only way we can see to get out. Do all people with suicidal ideations create plans to die by suicide? And that answer is no. Everyone who has these thoughts do not create plans to actively pursue suicide. To some people, it's just a moment, or they just count it as something that they feel that it's just natural, and it's something that they'll get through by any means, and they reach out for help. They reach out for help to begin to process and peel the layers back of the issues that they deal with. But then there are those that begin to do other things as a result of the ideations, of the thoughts that continue to play over and over in their heads. We know some young ladies, they begin to cut themselves. They begin to cut, and some as early as 9 and 10 years old. You know, we see that in the schools many times as educators. You know, we see young ladies that begin to cut. We see young men who we know from last night that males are more likely to complete the suicide. I've seen young men that as early teenagers use guns and other weapons and things to follow through with that act. And so, you know, we really don't have all the answers, but one thing that we can do is be able to listen. You know, when we have people that are suffering in silence, even in their silence, they speak. And this is where we have to become more aware of. We have to be more attentive to one another. Even in people's silence, they speak. All we have to do is listen. And I say that because I see so many people smile. I see so many people smile, and they have just this bubbly personality. But as I listen to the words that they speak, and as I look in their eyes, there's always something about the eyes that can tell a whole different story. So even behind that smile, and even behind all of that joy and that bubbly personality that they display on the outside, when you really pay attention and when you really connect with people, the eyes sometimes can tell a different story. And so at that point, I let them know that, you know, I see you. I see you. And to me, that's important for people to know sometimes, especially when people are feeling hurt and they're feeling lonely and they're feeling betrayed and they're feeling like helpless and hopeless. You know, it's important that they know that they are being seen and that they are noticed. Some people just do not have words for the things that they deal with. They do not have words. Some people are ashamed. Some people don't want to be judged or criticized. And so one thing that we can do when we're focusing on suicide awareness and when we're looking at suicide ideations and what it looks like, we can listen. Listen to what they say. And you listen without being judgmental. You listen without being critical. You listen without trying to always find answers or trying to give advice. And I think that's where some of us really make the mistake. If someone's talking to me about something that they're going through, and they just need someone to listen to them. They don't need me trying to offer up solutions or trying to give advice. Because what that does at that time is they're saying they already believe that sometimes that we can't relate, or that we really don't know, or we really can't understand what they're going through. And for many times that could be true. Because their pain is their pain, their experience is their experience. And they may be trying to process it as they're opening up to talk to us. And so whereas we're trying to say, yeah, we understand, or yeah, we know, or we've been there and we've done that, or trying to offer solutions, if we just take the time to listen, or maybe just a touch of the hand or a touch on the leg or something like that, just to let them know that we're there and that we love them, and that we're concerned and we want to hear more, maybe lean in a little bit. Allow them time, even in their silence, to process and find the words for what they're trying to communicate to us. Sometimes all they need to do is be able to find the words to it and speak it. And that within themselves can be very therapeutic. Just to be able to find the words and talk about it. And sometimes even for the first time. So listening is important. Another thing that we can do after we have really listened and really connect and understand and build that relationship or that rapport with them, is to, if it's to the point to where you know that, or you get the feeling that they are on the verge of creating a plan, or they've created a plan and they're ready to follow through, just ask the question. Just simply ask the question. And Miss Josie, she shared that with us last night. You know, just ask the question. For someone that is deeply hurt, and for someone that is going through and their pain is so deep that they can't see a way out, just asking the question, are you planning to kill yourself, or do you feel like you're going to kill yourself? You know, just really be open and blunt and honest about it and with it. Sometimes they say that that just opens the door. That opens the door not to follow through with the act, but opens the door of that freedom, of that release to get out whatever it is that they're feeling emotionally. And so as blunt as that sounds, you know, people, we don't want to be babied. We're not babies. We don't want people to feel sorry for us. And that's a lot of times what we think when we share things so sensitive, such as suicidal ideations and things like that. You know, people want to pity with us. And so that's one of the things that, you know, I've tried not to do with people, is pity with them. Now, if I can't offer you a solution, or if I can't be there as a listening ear and just give you a place to vent, one thing I will not do is pity with you. Because pity, I don't think it's helpful. I don't believe it's helpful, and that's just my personal opinion. And in a situation to where someone has suicidal ideations, or they've already created a plan and they're ready to follow through with that plan, you know, this is a life and death situation. I don't know where pity fits in with that. So it's one of those situations to where it's time to act and create a plan so that we can come up with a solution for whatever it is that you're dealing with. And also, number 3, what we can do is just make awareness. Just talking about it, just having a place to where we can come in and have a conversation, a healthy conversation about suicide. That takes away all the labels. That takes away all the stigma. That takes away all the myths and things like that. It eliminates all that when we can make it aware that this exists and that it's okay not to be okay. So 3 things we can do as it relates to suicidal ideation is we can listen, simply ask the question, and draw awareness. And so this is what I hope to accomplish here several days this month, just drawing awareness, letting us know that this exists. And like I said, there's no particular culture, there's no particular socioeconomic demographics, none of that. We are all, I believe in most instances, one prayer away, or we've been one prayer away or one breath away from the thoughts of suicide, or actually following through with the acts of suicide. And if we haven't, we know someone who has. And so let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's reach out. Let's support one another wherever it is that we are. Wherever it is we are, whatever our story is, take time to listen to somebody else's story. Take time to be a voice for someone who doesn't have the words or can't find their voice. Because we never know who is watching us that just needs us to let them know that it's okay not to be okay. And that even with all the stigmas and that are associated with suicide, that you're here to listen and not be judgmental. So I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for another Facebook Live. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Good night, everybody.